Kamala Harris securing enough delegates to become the Democratic Party's candidate for president.
I am honored to be the presumptive Democratic nominee for president of the United States.
The latest polling averages and what we've learned about who Harris could pick to join her on the ticket.
State of emergency. Florida taking action ahead of what could develop into Hurricane Debbie, bringing more than a foot of rain. The warnings and watches as our weather team tracks the threat for the East Coast.
High alert in the Middle East. The U.S. redeploying forces to protect Israel from any attack from Iran and its allies threatening to retaliate for the assassination of a Hamas political leader.
Justin Timberlake's plea. The superstar answering to that DWI charge in court while on tour overseas as his lawyer defends him.
Justin Timberlake was not intoxicated.
The latest move by the judge.
Back to school bargains. A money expert shares her plan of action to help you save some cash on that checklist. Plus the best ways to take advantage of tax-free weekends.
And Team USA's triumphs. New medals overnight at the Summer Games. The right strokes for Americans in the pool. The swimming sisters making waves of their own.
I think that was a huge goal for us to do that together.
And the world's fastest woman, Sha'Carri Richardson, taking to the track.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. It's great to have you with us on this Saturday. It's also great to have the People's Champions with us this morning. Special treat. We got Will Reeve, Rachel Scott. It's great to have you.
So good to be here.
Thrilled to be here.
No better way to start the weekend.
Exactly. We've got a busy one today. A lot of news to cover here. New concerns about the economy, Wall Street tumbling after a disappointing jobs report, what it could all mean for your wallet.
There's also breaking news overnight as Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin revokes the plea deal for the alleged mastermind of the 9/11 terror attacks and two of his accomplices, putting the death penalty back on the table.
But we begin with the presidential race. Democrats taking the final steps toward officially making Vice President Harris their nominee less than 2 weeks after President Biden stepped aside. ABC senior White House correspondent Selena Wang is here with the latest in this unprecedented campaign. Selena, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Will. It has been a remarkable 2 weeks for Vice President Harris. In that time span, she's united the party behind her and earned enough votes to become the Democratic nominee. Now, all eyes turn to who she'll pick for her running mate. Her announcement could come any day. This morning, Vice President Kamala Harris on the cusp of choosing her running mate. Sources tell me she's meeting with some top contenders in D.C. this weekend. Her big decision coming after she made history on Friday, securing enough votes to clinch the Democratic nomination for president, becoming the first Black woman, the first Asian American to be at the top of a major party ticket.
I am honored to be the presumptive Democratic nominee for president of the United States.
Harris calling into the virtual roll call to celebrate the moment.
You know, it's not going to be easy, but we're going to get this done. And as your future president, I know we are up to this fight. And when we fight, everyone will say in unison, we win.
With just 93 days until the election, our 538 polling average shows a very tight race. And now Harris expected to announce her running mate any day. Those who've been thoroughly vetted for the ticket include retired astronaut Mark Kelly, the husband of Gabby Giffords, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, a retired school teacher and former congressman, and popular Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. Like Harris, a former prosecutor. Shapiro, sources tell me, cleared his schedule this weekend and is one of the contenders meeting with Harris.
Governor, do you expect Kamala Harris to ask you to run if there's success here? So.
I think that's a question for the Vice President.
If you're not going to the Hamptons this weekend, what are you doing instead?
Let me tell you what I'm doing. Go ahead.
Are you planning on being in Philadelphia on Tuesday by chance?
I hope to be, yeah.
Vice President Harris is wasting no time. Next week, along with her new running mate, she'll be hitting 7 battleground states in just 5 days. And former President Donald Trump is also hitting critical battlegrounds. Tonight, he's rallying with J.D. Vance in Georgia. Guys?
A busy campaign weekend, a busy week ahead. Selena, thank you so much. All right, we turn now to the big storm brewing in the Caribbean this morning, heading straight for Florida. It's likely to reach tropical storm strength tonight, and Florida officials have already declared a state of emergency. So let's get right to ABC's Faith Abube in St. Petersburg with the latest. Hey, Faith, good morning.
And good morning to you, Rachel. That state of emergency coming days ahead of the storm and also covering right now about 54 counties across the state of Florida right now. The concern is that a heavy rain event with gusty winds could cause widespread power outages and significant flooding. And it's the flooding portion that's the top worry right now. That's because flooding is usually the deadliest part of a storm like this one that's forecasted for this area. Now, officials were using these final hours to hammer home that these are the final critical hours for people to get ready. They want people to sign up for government alerts, finalize their emergency plans, and take precautions. And for some people, that means protecting their homes with sandbags. There were lines yesterday of people picking up sandbags. They were free. Those locations will reopen again today. Now, the storm is forecasted to be about maybe 200 or so miles away from us right now. But the state of emergency that has been declared has already activated a lot of resources, including the National Guard. There are about 3,000 service members right now who are on standby, ready to rescue people if need be. Rachel.
Yeah, so many bracing. All right. Thank you so much, Faith. All right. So for the latest on the storm's track, let's get right to Samara Theodore. All right, Samara, good morning. Walk us through it.
Okay. So right now it's still a tropical depression. It has to cross over Cuba. It's going to hit that open water. Temperatures right now in the 80s, just enough energy to juice this up, turn it into a tropical storm named Debbie, at which point we could see it then make its way to the Big Bend by Monday morning, 70-mile-per-hour winds, potentially even a low-grade hurricane before moving out to the Carolina coast there. Now, you can see the areas that could see tropical storm conditions from Naples up to Tampa, but we have a hurricane watch near Cedar Key and Horseshoe Bend. As I said, we could see further strengthening as we approach Monday morning. This is going to impact that Monday morning commute for all those living along the west coast of Florida there. Storm surge could be significant in the Big Bend, 3 to 5 feet, 2 to 4 closer to Tampa. Very heavy rain. Locally, we could see 10 to 15 inches. So as Faith mentioned, one of the big issues is going to be flooding. Whit?
Major concern. All right, Samara, we'll check back with you in just a bit. Now to the breaking news overnight in the 9/11 plea deal involving the accused mastermind of the attacks and 2 alleged accomplices, a surprise move by the Secretary of Defense.
Overnight, a stunning reversal. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin revoking the controversial plea deal for the alleged mastermind of the 9/11 terror attacks and 2 of his accomplices, putting the death penalty back on the table. In a surprise memo to retired Brigadier General Susan Escalier, who approved the deal, Austin saying he was taking over responsibility for the cases, writing, "In light of the significance of the decision, responsibility for such a decision should rest with me." The move comes just 2 days after the Pentagon announced it had reached a plea deal with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and his accomplices Walid bin Attash and Mustafa al-Hassawi. That deal would have seen them plead guilty to the murder of nearly 3,000 direct victims in exchange for life in prison, avoiding the death penalty. The decision sparking outrage from many.
When on Wednesday, when I learned about the deal, it was a gut punch because that came out of nowhere. We weren't expecting it. And we just learned about it on the news. Nobody had notified us properly.
Terry Strada's husband was killed on 9/11. He was on the 104th floor of the North Tower that morning. She is now national chair of 9/11 Families United, relieved when she heard about the reversal late Friday.
I was completely shocked. It came as a huge surprise. And I'm very grateful. I'm happy about this decision because justice needs to be served. And now I believe it will.
Now, some important context here. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was captured in 2003. While in CIA custody, he was subjected to 183 rounds of waterboarding and other enhanced interrogation techniques. His trial had been delayed for years as major questions focused on whether those tactics had contaminated the evidence and potentially the case against him. Will?
All right, Whit, to Texas now, where Paul Whelan, Evan Gershkovich, and Alsu Kermasheva are getting health checks and post-isolation support at the same military base where other former detainees have gone upon release. And ABC's Mireya Villarreal joins us now from San Antonio. Mireya, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Will. Yeah, those 3 Americans that were formerly detained in Russia are now waking up on U.S. soil right here in San Antonio, Texas, after a whirlwind 24 hours. And the good news is their families are also here in town, staying at hotels near Brooke Army Medical Center, the facility you see right behind me. That way they can visit their loved ones whenever they want, but also participate in some of that post-isolation support activity that you just mentioned. It was an emotional reunion when Paul Whelan, a former Marine, and journalists Evan Gerskovich and Alsu Kurmashiva finally touched down yesterday, greeted by the president, vice president, and their overjoyed families. Now, this is the largest prisoner exchange since the Cold War, the deal involving 24 prisoners and at least 6 different countries. And this morning, we have stunning new details coming out of Russia. The Kremlin reporting that the children of 2 sleeper agents held in Slovenia for spying after posing as Argentinian nationals didn't find out they were Russian until they were on the plane to meet their parents yesterday. They were greeted by the Russian president in Spanish after landing. Now, after this historic exchange, there is a lot of pressure now mounting to try and get the other U.S. citizens that are imprisoned released. The president telling reporters just yesterday that he is not giving up on this, and he was working very closely with his administration to try and get those other U.S. citizens released very soon. Rachel?
Maria, yeah, the Biden administration is still saying that's a top priority. All right, thank you. Now to the precarious and fast-moving situation in the Middle East. The U.S. sending more forces into the region, preparing for potential escalation. ABC's Matt Rivers is in Tel Aviv with the latest. Good morning, Matt.
Yeah, good morning, Rachel. A very tense calm here in Israel as this entire country really is bracing for what's to come from Iran and its proxies after Israel's assassination of key Hezbollah and Hamas leaders earlier this week. And we know so too is the United States preparing, with the Department of Defense announcing that it is both repositioning and adding military assets in this part of the world to help defend Israel against any retaliation. Now, the assumption here is that an Iranian response will almost assuredly include another kind of missile barrage like we saw them do a few months ago. And as such, the U.S. adding fighter jets as well as Navy cruisers and destroyers to the mix here to try and be able to shoot down any incoming missiles. The U.S. State Department issuing an alert to Americans here in Israel, warning of, quote, the continued need for caution and increased personal security awareness, including knowing the location of the nearest shelter, as security incidents often take place without any warning. Despite all of this, a senior Israeli official confirming to ABC News that negotiations still continuing for a ceasefire deal in Gaza. Israeli negotiators in Cairo this morning to continue talks. Whit.
All right, Matt Rivers for us. Thank you. This morning, the Department of Justice is taking aim at TikTok over how it allegedly handles private information provided by minors. ABC's Christiane Cordero is joining us now with details. Christiane, good morning.
Hey, Whit. Good morning to you. So TikTok and its parent company ByteDance are facing a new lawsuit over how they allegedly used kids' information. There's a law called COPPA that prohibits companies from collecting and retaining information from children under 13 years old without first meeting certain requirements like parental consent. And the DOJ says TikTok violated that law, that the company knowingly allowed children under 13 to create accounts in the regular TikTok versus on the app's kids mode, claiming they were collecting data the way they do with adult users and letting kids view adult content. The lawsuit also claims TikTok collected children's personal information, including email addresses, without their parents' consent when using kid mode accounts. In a statement, a TikTok spokesperson told us, quote, we disagree with these allegations, many of which relate to past events and practices that are factually inaccurate or have been addressed. We are proud of our efforts to protect children, and we will continue to update and improve the platform. The company saw this lawsuit coming after the FTC announced in June that it referred a complaint to the DOJ following an investigation. And the lawsuit also comes just days after the Justice Department defended another law that requires ByteDance to sell its American-based operations or risk an all-out ban. ByteDance has sued to try and prevent that law from taking effect in January. Well,
the TikTok battle wages on. Christiane, thank you for that. Moving now to pop star Justin Timberlake's latest court appearance related to his June DWI arrest. Timberlake making a virtual court appearance while on tour in Europe. ABC's Aaron Katersky has more.
This morning, Justin Timberlake is on tour in Europe while his lawyer tries to resolve a DWI case in New York.
He was not intoxicated. I'll say it again. Justin Timberlake was not intoxicated.
Timberlake appearing virtually in court where he pleaded not guilty to 2 misdemeanors. It was his second arraignment. DailyMail.com captured the pop superstar going into court the first time. He had to appear again Friday because of a paperwork problem. Timberlake's mugshot instantly went viral following his arrest in June when police in Tony Sag Harbor said he ran a stop sign and swerved into the opposite lane of traffic. His BMW captured moments earlier on surveillance camera. Timberlake had been out with friends at Hampton's hotspot, the American Hotel. Police quoted him saying, "I had one martini and I followed my friends home." But an officer said Timberlake's eyes were bloodshot and glassy, and a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage was emanating from his breath. Police said Timberlake was unsteady on his feet and performed poorly on a sobriety test. He refused a chemical test. Timberlake's license is suspended in New York.
That's standard with every DWI case.
Not that he's doing much driving during his Forget Tomorrow World Tour, with 2 shows this weekend in Belgium. Aaron Katersky, ABC News, West Hampton Beach, New York.
And our thanks to Aaron for that report. Now to your money and the growing signs that the economy may be slowing down too fast. So what could it all mean for your wallet? Let's bring in someone that may have an answer to that. ABC's Morgan Norwood is here to break it all down. Hey, Morgan, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Rachel. I think I got a couple of answers for you. Okay, so let's talk about this. Stocks plummeting to end the week over worries that our economy could be buckling under the pressure of high interest rates. And that is a ripple effect of that disappointing jobs report. And to put it plainly, Wall Street is kind of worried about a recession. So let's get into this. Let's talk about why. Employers added 114,000 jobs last month, but that was well below the 185,000 forecast. That report also showed a struggling unemployment rate. It actually jumped 4.3%. But it's not all bad news. There is a silver lining here. Some fields, including your healthcare, construction, transportation, and warehouses field, they grew. But boy, this has been quite a week. Stocks had actually been having a great year. And just days ago, the Fed chair hinted that rate cuts are likely coming this September. But at that same meeting, they ended up not lowering interest rates. And some economists, they believe that that was a big mistake. So rate cuts, let's talk about that, what that would mean for you. It would make it easier for you and your family, businesses to borrow money, which in turn would boost the economy. But look, we're looking at months to a year for it all to make a difference. Bottom line, we'll be watching what happens in September really closely with.
It's all just a big balancing act, so much at stake. Morgan, thank you. Nearly a year after the deadly and devastating Maui wildfires, a settlement has been reached. 7 defendants paying plaintiffs more than $4 billion. The fire killed 102 people, displaced thousands, and leveled the historic town of Lahaina. Hawaii's Governor Josh Green says it will help our people heal. The settlement is subject to court approval.
We turn now to the summer games, and this morning some of the biggest names are set to compete. Of course, we're talking about Simone Biles, Katie Ledecky. They are both going for the gold, and while Sha'Carri Richardson hopes to finally prove what she can do on the track. So let's bring in ABC's Inez de la Catera covering the games for us in Paris. She joins us now. Hey, Inez, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Rachel. And there were some disappointments yesterday, but with swimming wrapping up and athletics now getting underway, some of our biggest stars are hitting the track.
This morning, a big day for track and field. Superstar Sha'Carri Richardson ready to race to gold after making her highly anticipated Olympic debut. Currently the fastest woman in the world, breezing to a first-place finish in the first-round heat of the 100-meter dash on Friday. Team USA's Grant Fisher winning bronze in the 10,000-meter final, falling out of medal position at one point, but surging back in the last lap. Fisher becoming the second American man in 56 years to win a medal in the event, the crowd erupting in USA chants.
These races always come down to the last lap, and specifically the last 100 meters, and to be in position and fighting, and you're riding the line the whole race.
And in swimming, Regan Smith winning the silver in the women's 200-meter backstroke. But some disappointment on the men's side. Caleb Dressel hoping to defend his gold medal after he set an Olympic record for the 50-meter freestyle in Tokyo, finishing 6th in the event. Later, the celebrated swimmer emotional after he did not qualify for the 100-meter butterfly final. Also facing defeat, men's soccer losing 4-0 to Morocco. After a hopeful run, it was the first time Team USA reached the quarterfinals in 24 years. And another glimpse at greatness, all eyes will be on Simone Biles as she returns for the vault final, and Katie Ledecky competing in her final event of the Paris Games with the 800-meter freestyle, exiting as the most decorated American female Olympian of all time.
And track star Noah Lyles making his big Olympic debut today, qualifying in the 100-meter dash just moments ago. And later, all eyes will be on the men's basketball team seeking the #1 seed going into quarterfinals. Guys.
Wow, this is a huge day. Okay, looking forward to it. Inez, thank you.